Hi, Aric. It's great to get to talk to you. You're a futurologist. You think about the future quite a bit. What kind of time frame do you look at when you think, when you know, in the jobs that you get to think about, or the projects, I'd say?
You know, when I'm alone at night, I allow myself to sail 75 years down the road. Mm-hmm. And I think most of the concepts that I freestyle are between 25 and 75 years. But when you're engaging with companies that's struggling to think about the next 6 months,
sure,
we start in the next 2 to 5 years, and then maybe go 7 years just to understand the potentials.
I could see that. I've worked at a number of companies that having a 5-year plan was a huge struggle for them, and the thought of how can we imagine what 5 years will be, seeing the changes that have happened in the last year, but really trying to get an idea for it is really valuable.
I think the challenge right now is that companies used to work on these product cycles of 5 years. Mm-hmm. And then come the digital age and telling them, you need to release every 6 months.
Right.
And then come people like me and says, but no, you need to go back and think about the next 10 years. And companies are extremely confused how to handle these things. And I think it's about working with leadership, trying to tell different stories about potential futures that could happen, and then work with their line management to conceptualize what should happen and should most impact of that company, and I think that's the best way of looking at it.
Yeah, certainly. So you're here meeting with Showpad and some of Showpad's clients and all today. Showpad's a platform for sales and marketing enablement, and so when you think of the future, how do you think that will change for the buying experience and for the sales and marketing?
I think the old way of doing marketing is fading away, and the old way of doing marketing is that you have a bunch of engineers sitting in dungeons and taking 20 years to design a product that will think it will last for 10, 20 years, mm-hmm. and then giving it to the marketeers that was never involved with that process, and the experience that is designed is around the technology rather than the needs in the market, while mm-hmm. you have so many wonderful tools today mm-hmm. to understand friction in real time and personalized experiences in real time.
Right.
And marketing, it's not about selling products anymore. It's about letting people experiencing accessorship. I think that's what's going to change.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're already seeing the trends where the buyer has so much more knowledge as they come into the sales experience. They can gather so much themselves, and what they need from the marketers, from the salespeople, is really different. And so that's already changing. It'd be really interesting to think about how technology is going to change that even more.
Well, if you think about the 4 moments of truth, right? The 0 moment of truth, the first, the second, and the ultimate moment of truth, they are fundamentally going to be different in a world that Stanley Milgram 6 degrees of separation doesn't apply anymore, mm-hmm. because everything is 1 click away. You said absolutely right. When you're already approaching someone, they have done their research. They know the product you're selling them so much more than you,
right.
because you are there to sell them the product, mm-hmm. but they are there to use the product to solve a friction they have in their life, or a need they have, or a wish they have. And I think the way we need to look at technology as an enabler, as a trigger, not as a replacement. Mm-hmm. Technology. The best technology for me is invisible. So how invisible technology is going to help people become better people?
Right.
How technology can step in and help you take a decision when decision needs to be taken, and then fade away so you can experience the relationship with the client. For me, that's the perfect symbiotic relationship between technology. Not like, I don't want to call a customer service and I have like a bot answering me. Mm-hmm. It's not sustainable. It needs to be designed in a different way. I often says that a human needs more robot in them, but robot needs more human in them, and that's how this relationship should evolve.
Yeah, that's great, because I think about currently there's a lot of live interaction in the buying and selling process, right? And so we're hearing a lot with AI, with the bots, the chat bots, and all the other things, of really trying to get the humans out of that. But I'm really curious, kind of where things will go with the live interaction.
I'm a fan of the nudge theory in psychology, and now imagine the scenario of you are stepping into a client and your AI is stepping with you, and you're meeting a client with their AI, and most discussions about selling products is about the price in the end of the day. How much is it going to cost me? And you start this negotiation. What if the AI can do the negotiation based on the data they can assimilate in the background, and you can talk about experiences and wishes? Let the technology handle the needs and wants, and the relationship be about wishes. I think that's the winning combination, at least in this market.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's a great vision for where it'll go. So we want it to be really powerfully helpful to it all, right? Where do you think, you've studied a lot on robotics and augmented reality and virtual reality, and there's some other technology, artificial intelligence and machine learning. Which of those do you think will play in which ways?
I think, I will start with machine learning and AR as extremely powerful tool to showcase certain type of experiences that we cannot showcase today. To start immerse a client into their, worlds of desires in a real time. This is an extremely powerful tool, and AR and AI or machine learning will be the first tools of moving there. Right now, I'm having a hard time with VR. I think it's a gaming niche, and that's because we have a hard time of building the right narratives over there. Right. And robotics the same way. It's part of machine learning, part of inorganic intelligence. We have to remember that, when we call something smart, if we say smartphone, we're talking about the technology, not the phone. If we're talking about the smart city, we're talking about the technology, not the city. So how do we build a process that is smart and not a smart process?
That's interesting.
And this is where robotics and machine learning and various technologies around artificial intelligence can play an important role. And AR is a tool to visualize all of these wishes, the world of magic.
So certainly a lot of people, as they think about the future and how all this technology will come, think about it's going to replace me, right? So, and certainly, there's technologies that do, right? The car replaced the carriage, right? And so you didn't need the carriage driver. So we aren't taking tolls by hand as much on the bridges anymore because technology will do it. Things always continue to change, but it sounds like what you're saying is we want the technology, and there's the opportunities for the technology to assist the humans and not necessarily replace the humans.
I often, I'm looking at it we reached our evolutionary potential. There is no place to go. You're not going to grow another arm, another set of eyes. That's it, right? Our mental evolutionary, process also reached this peak. We don't read more books, more pages a minute than Aristotle did. The question is, do we really want technology to replace us, or do we want to use technology to use the narrative of humanity moving forward? What does it mean to be human when algorithms take decisions for you? How can I take decisions from algorithms as algorithms take decisions for me? It's not about building AI lawyers. It's about using AI to create better lawyers, regardless if they're human, organic, or inorganic. It's about pushing the boundaries of where we went with humanity to new horizons that we cannot even imagine right now unless we partner with technology. I think we are too busy racing against technology instead of with technology toward something bigger than us today.
So as people are thinking about their careers and the roles they have now and where their roles will change, what can people do to prepare for the changes that are coming?
I think the most important part for people today is to be able to prepare for change. This is the hardest part for us as human beings, to change, right? So let's accept that things are going to change. People ask me, what's going to be the jobs in 25 years from now? I have no idea.
We'll see.
I have no idea. with that being said, it's the acceptance of I have no idea what will open, that will open all of these possibilities.
Yeah.
Again, it's rethinking the narrative of human in the place we are today versus the place we should go.
Right, and having that openness that change is coming, right?
Yeah.
Be prepared, be open to it.
It's like, you know, I was in Moscow last year, and in the underground escalators, there is an old lady, you know, traditional Russian babushka, sitting there, and her job is just to tell people, don't run in the escalator. And of course, to start and stop if something happened.
Okay.
And my comment was that, but an algorithm can do that. Why do we employ people?
Right.
It was my wife that told me, but what are we going to do with her? And then I figure out, like, we should not create technology that causes people to lose their jobs.
Right.
We should stop educating people in professions that technologies can take over.
Sure.
So when a truck driver in your company is retiring, don't employ a new one. Take an autonomous driving car, employ a new one that can program this car.
Right.
Right? Repurpose over and over and over again. Don't replace.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Well, thank you. I really appreciated talking to you. I appreciated you coming out and speaking with Showpad
My pleasure.
today.